Copeland, your testimony is that you told many lies in these interviews in 2015, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to just review with you some of the lies that you told, okay?
All right.
Thank you. First of all, I want to talk to you about the gray infinity. Okay?
I'm listening.
All right.
What could you say to your group to keep us out of elimination? Our group is 100% wanting to take the
Through
shots.
the questioning of the police, and I don't know, maybe through other information that you've been given, you're aware that there's a surveillance video of the shooting of Donovan Thomas, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware that the surveillance video shows a gray sedan, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware that the police believe it to be an infinity, correct?
They put it on the news.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask Mr. Kokomo to publish DS-19A, which is a clip from States 378 Yankee A, which is the January 11, 2015 interview, from 3/18/47 to 3/19/38.
Tony needs to ask himself whether or not he wants us to be friends or to owe him a vendetta. Please, in case maybe you know, I have a preference. If I had to do it, I would rather go with a visa. I mean, it's no disrespect.
Did y'all ever rent a home in Infinity? Y'all ever rent one of those cars? Have you been stopped in Infinity before? Yeah, from an accident in Infinity? No. A maximum? Have I ever had a cover again?
It might not be a permanent though. It might be physical.
I had a cover in the Pontiac. That was a couple years ago. I ain't had no coverage. I had no reason. I ain't never done it.
Okay, this is the same night that Donovan Thomas was shot and killed, correct?
Can you say it again?
This is the same night, this interview was the same night that Donovan Thomas was shot and killed, correct?
I guess.
And Detective Thorpe, you heard him. He asked if you've ever owned or rented an Infinity, correct?
That's what he said.
And you said no,
Right?
He asked if you ever wrecked an Infinity,
Like many women over 40,
right?
Right.
And you said no,
Right?
Okay. I'm going to publish, Your Honor, with your permission, DS-19B, which is a clip from the same interview on 378 Yankee Alpha, States Exhibit 378 Yankee Alpha, from 3/20/28 to 3/20/48, which is 20 seconds.
There's a video?
Yes. 3/20/28 to 3/20/48.
Y'all ever had an Infinity Gray? Gray? Y'all ever...
Is it up now?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you start it over?
Y'all ever had an Infinity Gray? A Gray Infinity? Q45? A truck? No. A car? Yeah. Actually, maybe his car. It would be a car he had rented or something like that. That's cool.
In that clip, again, Detective Thorpe asked you about whether you ever had a gray Infinity, correct?
Right.
And you said, not that I know of.
Right.
Those were your statements on January 11, 2015, hours after Donovan Thomas was shot, correct?
Right.
Okay. I want to talk to you about the reality.
Right, Bruce?
The reality is that you asked Jeffrey Williams to rent you a gray Infinity, correct?
I'm listening.
Or I should say he asked you you asked him to rent you a car, and it ended up being a gray Infinity, correct?
I'm listening.
Okay. The reality is that on the night of June 9th, going into the morning of June 10th, the same day that Donovan Thomas was shot, you were driving that Infinity on the highway, correct?
Isn't it absolutely bonkers that you can walk into
I don't know. I can't remember when I was driving.
We just saw your testimony from earlier in this trial.
Yeah, but you being specific about the time. I don't know.
Okay. The reality is,
I don't know when I read on the expressway. That's what I'm saying.
okay. Do you agree that it was, I'm not asking for a time, do you agree that it was on the evening of January 9th? It was nighttime that you wrecked.
It was nighttime.
You were speeding on the highway and you hit some cones.
I lost control, yeah.
And that was, I believe in your testimony you said you wrecked the car. And let me be clear, Quindarius Zachary, Lil D from Cleveland, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Lil D from Cleveland was in that car, that Infinity, with you on the night you wrecked.
Yes.
Okay? And after wrecking the car, you guys reattached the bumper on the side of the highway, correct?
How you know that?
Is it true?
I'm listening.
Okay. And after you reattached the bumper, that's when you went and pulled up on threat Trevante Turner at a music studio somewhere around Northside Drive, I believe is what you said.
Yes.
Correct? And you gave that car to that Infinity to Trevante Turner.
Yes.
Okay? And in your testimony, you said then you went home, fell asleep, and the next day you woke up, and that's when the Donovan Thomas shooting occurred, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just working through this with you. I'm not trying to trick you. So, based on your testimony, you were driving that car, that Infinity, on the evening of January 9th going into January 10th, correct?
I guess.
Of 2015, with Mr. Zachary.
I guess.
And you gave that Infinity to your good friend, Threat, in the early morning hours of January 10th, 2015, correct?
I gave it to him at nighttime. It was dark.
Okay. So you don't remember if it was before midnight or after midnight. Is that what you're saying?
I don't keep up with the time.
Okay, that's fine. The bottom line is, you were specifically asked about that Infinity, or an Infinity,
You'll throw us a bone, right? If we do what you're asking.
hours after Donovan Thomas was shot.
Anybody in this game.
And you denied ever being in possession of an Infinity, correct?
Say that again.
When you were asked on January 11th, early in the morning, talking to Detective Thorpe, when Detective Thorpe, the lead investigator of the Donovan Thomas murder, asked you about possessing a gray Infinity, you denied that you ever had one, correct?
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about the gun at the Dunbar Rec Center. As I understand your testimony, or as I understand your statements, let me back up, I'm sorry. At the Dunbar Rec Center, we're talking about a Diamondback 223 assault rifle, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're not talking about a handgun, we're talking about a semi-automatic machine gun? Is that a fair assessment?
A chopper.
A chopper, okay. And in your statements back in 2015, you repeatedly denied possession of that gun, didn't you?
They put it on me.
Okay. And your testimony actually here today is that you were just there playing basketball and they put it on you.
That's what the video would show.
Okay. You specifically said in your statements when you were trying to get out of jail, I ain't do nothing. Right?
Right.
Okay. The reality
selfish because if they end up stalemating, they're going to go down
is
to
that
elimination,
you pled
which then
to that
means
case
they'll
in federal court,
reconvene
correct?
if they lose.
Yes. Okay. In federal court, you acknowledged possessing that gun. Yes. Okay. And you were sentenced. Yes. Okay. And you served, and to be fair to you, you served your sentence, right? Yes. Okay. Let's talk about the stolen IDs and the rental car and the laptop in the apartment on June 10, 2015, okay? And that's the day that the federal agents kicked into Sean's door and locked you up. And that's also the same day that you made up the story and lied and said Demekion Garlington told you that Shannon and others were responsible for killing Donovan Thomas, right? Yes. Okay. Can you play DS23I for me, Mr. Kokomo, and that's States Exhibit 378 Yankee Echo from June 10, 2015, from 11:25:01 to 11:26:20.
Can you play it again?
Yes, we can.
I'm recording.
In that clip, you're being asked about how those stolen items ended up in your apartment and your rental car, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling the investigators that you didn't do those auto breakings that resulted in those items being stolen, correct? Right. You're saying it was Little Mike and Quez from Etheridge? Yes.
You're going to have to lower your shoulder and take someone alcohol, bro. Because it ain't going to be me. Is it more appropriate to stand up?
There you're saying that you gave the car to Devontae, who gave it to Lil Mike and Quez, correct? Yes. Okay, and you would agree that Detectives Gaither and Dennis are telling you we've never even heard of Lil Mike and Quez, correct? Yes.
So if it is his last night,
Mr. Copeland, Lil Mike is not a real person, is he? No. That was the finesse. You invented a person out of thin air, correct?
I really like Josh.
Yes. Quez is not a real person. You invented him out of thin air on the spot, correct? Yes. You invented those people to take the heat off of you and put it on fictional characters.
I done told y'all this is what I do.
That's your finesse, right? The reality is that stolen merchandise was found in your apartment and in your rental car, and you invented fictional characters to take the heat off yourself, right?
But they're doing it in the middle of the room. mean, that's not sneaky.
I know you're gonna say, I told you that's what I do.
I guess.
But I gotta ask the questions. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. October 27, 2021. Okay.
Naya is a tall, beautiful, engaging person. I am not surprised that there's more than one guy in this house want to scale that scaffolding.
Mr. Copeland, I'm handing you DS 25C. Do you recognize the people in that photograph?
Yes.
Okay, and who are those people?
Me and the police.
Okay, and do you know either of the police officers' names?
Miss V. And I think that white man named Kelly. Something like that.
Could the Caucasian gentleman be known as Investigator Kettle?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, and Miss V is Investigator Viverito?
Yeah, the probation officer.
Okay. And are you in an interrogation room in that photo?
Yes.
Okay. And is that a photo from the interrogation of you on October 27, 2021?
Yes.
Okay. And at this time, Your Honor, I would ask to admit DS-25C into evidence. All right. Mr. Kokomo, can you publish?
This argument is probably more than Josh being upset about Tori choosing to send him into elimination. I think that he's a little bit embarrassed in this moment for being upset about Naya.
Okay. And like I asked you about the photo from June 10, 2015, I'm going to ask about this photo as well. You don't appear to be wearing a Fulton County blue uniform, are you?
No.
Okay. And I can't tell if were your arms shackled together during that interview?
My leg.
All right. And we see you're wearing Timberland boots, and we see a chain right next to the boot, correct?
It's on my leg.
Right. And that's shackling you to the ground.
Yes.
You are under arrest in this photo.
Yes.
Okay. And you know that you are soon to be wearing a Fulton County blue uniform, correct?
That's what they told me.
And the allegations of that case were you were pulled over at Atlantic Station in Atlanta, correct?
No.
Where were you?
Walking.
Okay, you were walking. All right. According to the police, they searched a car that they were saying was yours, right?
Yes.
And they found a handgun under the car seat, correct?
That's what they claim.
Okay. And you were a convicted felon, so you're not allowed to possess the handgun.
But I was walking.
Okay, I understand that's what you're saying. But you were charged with reckless conduct and possession of firearm by a convicted felon, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
No. I was told with driving with suspended license and the firearm.
Okay. Thank you for that correction. When you say firearm, you're talking about possession of firearm by a convicted felon.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a little complication with that explanation. You were in fact searched after you were arrested, correct?
I was tased and everything.
Okay. And when the police searched your clothing, correct?
Yes.
And they actually found a magazine in your pocket and bullets in your pocket, correct?
That's what they say.
In the pocket of the pants you were wearing,
That's what they say.
And when I say a magazine, that's a component of a gun that holds the bullets, correct?
I guess.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kokomo, could you play DS-25B, which is from 10/27/21 interview from 2:23:05 to 2:23:58.
I think that video has been tendered and admitted. It has not.
I am asking to, well, I'll go about this a different way. Thank you, Miss.
I have an objection. I'm just saying it's not admitted.
I might not need to play the video. Mr. Copeland, do you remember in that interview you were